The saga continues with the £400 Renault Megane.
And if you missed the first video, I bought this car off Facebook Marketplace.
And it was originally up for £650, but it was not in the best condition. The tyres were completely bald,
Pretty bad damage to the rear quarter.
and the indicators were missing.
Now, Webuyanycar originally quoted me £740 for this car.
But using their online tool, I put the damage on, and that brought the valuation down to £655.
When I arrived there, he immediately graded this a category 5 and knocked it down to £550.
But not only that, as I was on my way there, the engine management light come on, and that knocked it a further £280.
So their final valuation was £230.
This car owed me £490, so that stood me at quite a significant loss. But not to be deterred, I'm going to hatch a plan. And that plan is to see if the online car buying platform Motorway want this car instead. You know the drill. Reg plate, mileage, fake details. 237 quid.
Now, in the advert, it was stated that this car had an MOT until January.
But after doing a car vertical check, I realised that wasn't true. It was actually November.
And having an MOT due so soon is massively impacting the valuation of this car.
So we're going to have a look underneath it to see what's required to get it through another 12 months. One thing I did notice while driving this to Webuyanycar was there was quite a bad knock coming from the front. So Ash, do you reckon that's the cause of me knocking?
Maybe.
Right, that doesn't look connected to me, mate. What do you reckon it is?
I think that looks like an evil GT car.
Rude. Now that the wheel's off, I think the issue with the knocking is the tip of the iceberg. A lot of you guys in the previous video suggested Motorway, but without even putting any damage at all into the system, Motorway only offered £237. And that's really convenient, how it's £7 more than Webuyanycar. This is not looking good.
The idea was to sort the knocking out, change these wishbones, and try and get a fresh MOT on it. But under further inspection, it's going to need new discs, new pads, and a catastrophic oil leak sorting out.
As well as God knows what else we'll uncover. And as this already stands me at nearly 500 quid, it's just not worth doing this amount of work to try and make, well, nothing.
So as a bit of damage limitation, I'm going to scrap this car, where as long as it's running, which it is, they'll give me 255 quid.
Some you win, some you lose, right?
But I'm going to make it my mission to make money at Webuyanycar.
This series could be quite a long one. As a last resort, I gave the guys at Quick Car Recovery a call to see if they'd give me 300 quid for the baguette. The guys there will literally buy any car, so thankfully I made a bit more money back and they took it away.
If you've got anything decent or anything a bit, well, rubbish, give Ben a shout at Quick Car Recovery.
He'll probably come and take it off you. But he'll also come and rescue you if you're in a bit of a pinch as well.
Ta-ta.
Let's try again. With the £300 back I've made from that and the £1,000 I made back in YouTube ad revenue, I set my sights on Facebook Marketplace once again, more determined than ever of avoiding a lemon. Looking at Fiats is probably a bad idea then, but this one's a 2007 Punto and done just over 90,000 miles. Oh, alright, never mind. No MOT and known faults that need fixing. Not sure there'll be much margin in that once it's done. What else we got on here? This Merc looks alright, although there's only 3 pictures that look like they've been taken on a potato, and it's got the world's shortest description ever. How legit do we think that 12-month MOT is? I'll give that a miss, I think. Hang on, what's this? 900 quid for a Range Rover that's slightly newer and less miles than ours. Okay, it's got no MOT and it needs an airbag by the sounds of it, but otherwise that looks alright. It says it's petrol too, which means only one thing. That's gotta be a V8. I wonder what Webuyanycar is saying about this one. We should probably have a look to see if this is a straight car first. I'm going to use code EVILGT and get some money off this Car Vertical report. Car Vertical checks thousands of different databases all across the world, and thankfully it's given me 4 green ticks. There's no records of it being stolen, no mileage discrepancies, it's not got any finance outstanding on it, and most importantly, there's no record of any damage. This gives you loads of information even from when it was registered back in 2005. Not only that, this is confirming the fact that it is actually a 4.4 litre V8. It failed an MOT back in 21. There was a few advisories on that as well. It was inspected again and passed in 2022. Had a plate change, ownership change, and obviously that is when the MOT ran out in August 23. Now maybe it's changed ownership at that time because people looked at the list of what it needed to be done to that car and ran a mile. We've got a unit here, we've got lifts, I've got a mechanic who seems to know what he's doing in Ash. I think it's an absolute no-brainer to try and give this a go, particularly because it's a V8. The used car market's fallen 10% in the last 6 weeks alone, so there's no better time to buy a used car than right now. A Car Vertical report gives you all the tools you need to potentially save money on your next car, so what are you waiting for? Make sure you hit the link in the description box below and use code EVILGT for your money off. Here we go again. Reg, mileage, fake details. That's nearly 1,400 quid. Let's try and make this a bit more accurate. Okay, we'll say some service history. I bet it's only got one key. The MOT expired in August, so we'll change that. Over 1,100 quid with no MOT. I think we need to update the bodywork. The driver's side rear quarters completely rusted through, so I'll add that. And the same for the other side. 250 quid. Brilliant. You guys suggested motorway last time, so let's see what they're saying. Just over 1,100 quid. That's about £350 less than Webuyanycar's starting offer. Okay, so let's see if we can make this valuation a bit more accurate. I think that practically means motorway don't want it with no MOT.
A bit of bodywork and a near side front strut. I think we could be onto a winner here. But one thing's for definite, I'm going to need something strong enough to pull it and a trailer.
And what better motor than, well, a Range Rover?
So let's see if we can get a deal done. It is very, very windy out here, but a long story short, we have the trailer on the back of the Range Rover. This is a first for me. Wish me luck. Off to St Helens now to go and collect the car. There's some motors in here, but I've come for this one in particular. She's a bit dusty, she's a bit battered and bruised, she's a bit low, she's a bit covered in bird shit. More to the point, I bought a proper one. This is a 4.4 litre V8 petrol, and that's probably the worst one I could have bought. But we're gonna have a go and see if we can make some money off this. This is the maddest place I've ever been. Just a barn with loads of cars in it on a farm. The key doesn't work for a start. Central locking. Oh, hang on. Did that work then? No. Can't get in the fuel cap. Back door. The alarm works. Shove that in there. Right. Now hopefully that's disengaged the central locking. No. No. Can I at least start it? Let's see. We've got lights on. It's trying. Maybe there's no fuel, but I can't get in the petrol filler cap. It's locked. I'm gonna try and get my hand down to the back door if I can. Seat's in the way. Oh, there we go. I think I've got it. The things we do for YouTube. Right, there's got to be a manual release in here somewhere for this filler cap. It's definitely not. Definitely can't get in that. I don't know if it's behind here. In the boot. Oh yeah, there we go. I don't know if you guys can see this, a bit dark. Pulled that. Hopefully that's... Right, let's try and get some fuel in it. This is quite hard to do with only one hand.
I genuinely never thought that this was going to be such a massive ball ache. I couldn't get my funnel down the filler neck far enough to push the metal flap out the way that was stopping the fuel going down. Thank God there were no naked flames around, else I'd have been toast.
We're in anyway. Moment of truth. Yes! Yes! Hey, sounds silky smooth that. Woo. Woo. Right, let me just check this. Jesus Christ, only just goes on. As long as I'm straight. Wish me luck, boys and girls. I've never done this before in my life. Jesus Christ, this is only giving it a tiny bit of throttle. It's lively, this. I feel like I should put it in low range. What do you reckon? There we go. Low range selected. Right, chill out a little bit. We're all strapped up, ready to go. Now, whilst it's up here, we may as well have a little mooch around it just to see what the issues are. And straight away, I'm coming to this rust on the rear quarter. Can't remember what ours looks like actually. It's definitely not anywhere near that bad if it is going. Lights look all right. She's got a tow bar. The electric's underneath it, that's good. Obviously it's covered in bird shit. Slightly newer than ours. Slightly bigger wheels, I think. They look slightly bigger. This quarter's going as well. That's not ideal. Yeah, that's rotten. But otherwise, I think the silver and the black look works quite well. I don't know if they are for this particular year or whether they're aftermarket. And the door handles are obviously black. Were they supposed to be contrasting? I know they're contrasting on ours. It's got the drug dealer privacy glass. These have started to haze up a little bit. I think the ones on ours are facelifted ones. I don't think they should actually be on our car, but otherwise, the exterior doesn't actually look that bad. I mean, we can quite clearly see that that front wheel is sat really low. Driver's side rear corner was on its arse, but that's come up. And then this is really low as well. So I don't quite know what's going on there, whether it's both fronts, whether it's just one front, whether that's got a leak, that's got a leak, who knows. I'm gonna get this back to the unit now, and I'm gonna tell you guys exactly why I've bought this, what I've bought it for, how much. Everybody's interested in exactly how much. Let's hope we can make a profit with this, eh? One thing's for definite, this interior is miles better than ours in that other Range Rover. Luckily, I've not got that far to go to get back to the unit. The world's first here on Evil GT. I am towing a Range Rover with a Range Rover. Wish me luck.
I genuinely wasn't lying when I said I'd never done this before, and by that I mean tow any car, never mind a Range Rover, but here on Evil GT we don't do anything by halves. The most impressive thing was that this old girl pulled this with ease. Everything was going swimmingly until I saw this.
Excuse the wind noise, you will never guess what's just happened here. Trees falling down, absolutely crushed this guy's van. That is absolutely mental. It is windy today, probably the worst day ever to try and pull a Range Rover with a Range Rover. Literally a tree has fallen down onto the back of that guy's van. It's made a right mess. We've literally just pushed the doors back up because they'd literally folded 90 degrees. Luckily he's all right. If it had been there a split second sooner, it probably would have crushed the cab. No one stopped. Not a single person stopped for him. Anyway, I'm gonna get this Range Rover back to the unit after all of that.
I wasn't lying when I said I'd never towed a car before, but I don't know why I made such a fuss about it, to be honest. Our Range Rover handled it no problem. I managed to get this V8 L322 Range Rover for 800 quid in the end. Let me know in the comments if you think that was a bargain or not. I know these things aren't known for their reliability, but having this as a tool for the channel makes you really appreciate how versatile they are. Brilliant machine when it works alright, obviously.
We've got the Range Rover back. I've got Ash here as well. Come on Ash, give me your opinion on this, mate. What do you reckon?
Not a great deal.
This is a common problem I found out with these cars, and you can get rear quarters off eBay, which I think is like sort of like there. I'm sure it sort of does that or something like that, and they're about 70 quid. So they'll be mint then. So I think that concludes today's video. We've got a lot of work to do. It needs rear quarters, it needs a front strut, it needs loads of bodywork, it needs an MOT. But it's looking promising in that I think that there's money in it. If we can get this running right, I mean, it ticks over sweetly, it sounds mint. But if we can get it running right with the suspension and we can get the bodywork sorted out, I think we've got an absolute beauty there. I've left Ash alone with this for 2 seconds and he's put an hole in me car. Hey, oh my God. It was 800 quid. What have you done to it?
That needs more than a quarter of that.
Nah, mate, that's just a quarter of that. It'll be like a brand new condition once we've sorted that out. Please do consider subscribing, liking, hitting the bell, telling all your mates about our videos, and I shall catch you on the next one where we get this up and running and MOT'd.
You set me up for a crash.